How to populate a learning planner. Do you know that your learning planner is one of the tools to ensure your successful lesson delivery? Education is driven by three main things. They are the curriculum, the pedagogy, and assessment. The learning planner merges these three things into one. Now, what is a learning planner? A learning planner is actually an educational tool used to track the achievement of learning goals in a well-organized and prioritized manner. It is used by educators, researchers, learners, etc. The unique advantages of a learning planner is that it enhances time management, it increases reflection and self-assessment, it can also improve motivation and concentration. Now, let's learn how to populate the learning planner. I have put a sample on the screen. It is a learning planner for General Science, Week 13. The planner has a lot of rows and columns. Let's look at them one by one. Now, starting from the left to right, we have the subject row. The rows below it is the strand, the content standard, learning outcome, learning indicator, and then the rest. So let's start with the first row. The subject row comprises the subject, that is, the subject you teach, the week, that is, the particular week of the semester you are teaching, then duration of your period, this is the time you use to teach. Then the form class that you are teaching, example SHS 1, 2, or 3. Now, let's look at the strand. The strand used to be called the topic, and the substrand was formerly called the subtopic. The next row is the content standard. It is the broader knowledge that the learners are expected to master at the end of the lesson. Learning outcome is the broad knowledge learners ought to have at the end of the lesson. So the content is a broader knowledge whilst learning outcome is a broad knowledge. Then the learning indicator is the specific topic that you are going to teach for that particular week. The strand, substrand, content standard, and the learning indicator, they are all written in the teacher manual. Just copy and paste them in the planner. Now listen carefully. The teacher manual is a guide for teachers in populating your planner. It is a core reference material in populating a learning planner. The teacher manual is in sessions. Each session comprises a number of weeks. For example, this is week 13. Look at this session 5. The strand, substrand, and content standard for section 5 will be written for all the weeks under section 5. It is only the learning indicator that is different for the weeks under a session. Now let's move on to essential questions. Essential questions are questions that guide a teacher in carrying out the lesson. It is the backbone of the learning planner. Essential question is in three parts. The first question should be the pedagogy, or how the teacher would help the learners to understand the topic. The second essential question should be about the environment, and the third should be about the learner. You can check my channel for the video titled AI for Essential Questions. It will guide you on how to use to set good essential questions. Let's look at examples in this week. The learning indicator is describe the generation of electricity from solar cells or solar. The essential questions for this topic is 1. Which pedagogical strategies could be used to facilitate the learner's understanding of electricity generation from solar panels? This is for the teacher. This same statement can also be written as how can learners be helped to understand electricity generation from solar panels? The next question is, how can the knowledge of electricity generation from solar panels help learners to understand the disadvantages of fossil fuels? This is about the learner. Then the third one, which is, how can learners be introduced to alternative materials in the environment that can be used to make solar panels? Note that essential questions are not questions for the learner to answer. It is for the teacher to carry them out practically. Whatever you are writing in the learning planner, you should always refer to the essential question if what you are writing is in line with these three essential questions. It is not compulsory to create 3 essential questions, but at least 2. Now, pedagogical strategies. There are a lot of teaching methods, but you must read the learner material to see the pedagogies that are shown in their activities. So don't randomly choose a teaching method. Let the learner material guide you, as well as the teacher manual. Example of pedagogies are collaborative learning, talk for learning approach, demonstration, research method, etc. The pedagogies answer the first essential question. Any pedagogy you state must be used in the activities of the learning planner. So as a teacher, you have to strategize, read through the teacher manual and the learner material, list the pedagogies according to the books, and plan how you will use them in the course of the lesson delivery. The new curriculum does not only assess students on academic basis only its students, but also on things like competencies, 21st century skills and even character, so the pedagogy should help learners to acquire 1 or 2 competencies, 21st century skills, etc. For example, collaborative learning helps students to be able to collaborate with others wherever they are. Now let's look at teaching and learning resources. It is divided into 2:
teaching and learning materials
and references.
Teaching and learning materials
are the physical materials you're going to use in delivery of your lessons. Example, here we have prototypes of solar panels, so it means I'm going to bring a prototype of solar panels and show learners charts, pictures, and videos of various forms of electricity generation. Books are classified as TLRs if it was distributed for learners to have, but if it is only the teacher who used that book, then it is a reference, so you have to write the proper reference of the book, as in the case of a standard referencing in thesis writing. Copy and paste the source of the video or picture, their URLs at the reference side. Now, key notes on differentiation. At this side, just leave it as it is in the Learning Planner template. Key notes on differentiation talks about how can carry out differentiated or personalized teaching and learning for the learners. The idea is that, monitor learners and give personalized teaching and learning for those who may need it. The learning task, under the key notes of differentiation, is what the learner is supposed to know at the end of the lesson. Everything under the key notes are examples for you to follow. The key words are words that are critical to the understanding of the topic that you are treating for the week. Let's look at Lesson 1. This section talks about how you are going to deliver the lesson in class. It is better to create your lessons according to the number of periods on your timetable. Each lesson has 2 columns, the teacher activity and the learner activity. Every teacher activity must have a corresponding learner activity, just as in the previous lesson notes. Every lesson must have the following template with timelines: the starter, introduction, activity, assessment, and closure. Each must have time allocated to it. The starter is an activity to ready the students for learning. It is not about the topic of the day, but any activity to ready their minds for learning. So you have to be creative here. It could be a riddle, a dance competition, a song to identify the artist, showing learners a picture to identify the images, etc. The introduction is about introducing the topic to the students. So here you create an activity that will bring their minds to the topic for the day. In the activity section, you engage the learners in activities that will let them fish out information for themselves. In the new curriculum, teaching and learning is learner-centered. The teacher is now a facilitator, more like a signboard directing learners to information. So the activities must be such that 1. The pedagogies you listed in the pedagogical strategies side are used. 2. The teacher does not tell learners the information but directs them through demonstrations, pictures, videos, debates, groups discussions, field tours, nature walks, etc. The teacher then helps them to understand the information or topic. After every lesson is the assessment, either formatively or summatively. Assessment is simply finding out whether learners have understood the information shared. It must follow the Duque or depth of knowledge levels, and should be guided by the table of specification. Please visit my YouTube channel for in-depth insight into the assessment and table of specification. For the lesson closure, the teacher should create an activity to verify that the key points of the learning indicator topic have been understood by learners. Reflection and remarks. This section is about how the lesson was seen, in the eyes of the student and teacher as well, both good and bad. If there was postponement, interruptions, etc., it should be stated here. It will guide the teacher in the next lesson. At this point, I will scroll through the learning planner so that you can see a sample of it. Your comments are welcomed at the comment section of the YouTube. Please subscribe and share for more videos. Thank you for watching.